Starting. And we're live. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Psvg Emergency Podcast. We've convened the Nintendo Shack here to talk about all things SNES Classic, SNES Mini, Super NES, Classic Edition, Mini Console, whatever you call it. Because, guys, today it basically broke the internet. It's been a very fun day, and at least fun on my end. I thought it was fun, but I've brought some folks here with me. We're going to try to cover the news, give you some recap and some feedback so you're aware of what's going on. Before we get started, let me introduce my compadres on this quest. Obviously, my Nintendo sis is with me. What's up, Caroline?
What's up? It's been a good day for us. For us.
Yep, enjoy it while it lasts. Mm-hmm. And then also joining us tonight is none other than the Emperor himself, Nathan. Welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up? It's been a good day for some people, but man, it has been a terrible day for a lot of others.
Yeah, I feel really, really bad, actually. I was telling Donnie that earlier. I want everybody to be able to get one. Mm-hmm. So it kind of makes it a little sour.
Yeah. Let's before we get into it, let's do some recap here. Nathan, I can't see your webcam. Just to let you know. I threw it in the chat, but just to let you know. All right.
It's okay. Probably terrible anyway.
So I woke up like many others. I don't know a whole lot of people that didn't have this experience. So we'll run with this as the general experience. I woke up this morning to see Wario64 and everybody that just retweets his stuff because he's first out the gate. The Best Buy and Amazon had done Super NES Mini pre-orders overnight. And I woke up early today too. I had a very long day. I was up at like 5:15. I was like, "What? I missed them? They went live?" So I started doing some checking, and I realized that they were only available for like 10 or 20 minutes. So I was like, there's no way they're done. Obviously somebody was refreshing pages overnight or anything like that. So my experience, at least before 12 this morning, was trying to temper expectations because people were losing their minds. How are you going to sell all the pre-orders overnight in the middle of the night and not let anybody know or anything like that? Like, people were just, they've absolutely lost it. Did you guys have the same experience, different experience?
I didn't know about it until you messaged me. And you're like, hey, by the way,
emergency broadcast.
Well, it was just like, be on the lookout for GameStop. And I was like, why? Finally, I checked Twitter. I've been on a cruise the past week, so I've been busy playing catch up at work. So I immediately got into work mode as soon as I got up. And 9 o'clock, I'm looking, and it's meltdown already. Amazon and Best Buy, two of the they've actually put more retailers out this time. Nintendo's endorsed more retailers than the past 3 or 4 that they did for the NES. But it was still a madhouse, and I was like, it's come to this. We've not even gotten the release date, and it's already come to this. So of course I was on pins and needles all day, and Donnie and I were talking back and forth, like, have you heard anything? Have you heard anything? Have you heard anything? But that was my experience. I had no idea what I was walking into this morning. It seemed like a normal Tuesday that I was just going to be going to work, and it's the end of the month. Like they said, the pre-orders are going to be coming up. So here it is, you guys. And it's gone. And it's gone.
Nate, you woke up. Tell me what happened.
I woke up, got to work, turned on my Discord and looked at what was happening. I was like, seriously? Wait, this happened already overnight? Because I went on to Best Buy's website and it was still said, coming soon, and Amazon was down, and I was checking around the different places online, and yeah, sure enough. So, as the day went through, it was just like, who else is going to go live and when, and constantly refreshing website pages to see what's happening and trying to understand, the logic behind the early morning release. And it was kind of funny because the Best Buy one went live probably half an hour after I went to bed. So it's
no.
It's like, if I would have known, and I had like a small inkling of something because there was there was a website change in one of the stores either yesterday or not long ago that I noticed. I was like, huh, they changed this or they added this or something's different with that. So,
Well, I
wonder if
actually
this could be
predicted it
fun.
yesterday.
Did you?
I did. And in our little Discord chat, you guys should come find us, playsomvideogames.com, big Discord banner, click on it. Yesterday, all of the like review embargoes went live.
Yeah.
So there are
that's
all
what it was.
kinds of impressions and videos and captures and like 7 minutes of Star Fox. I mean, literally anything you needed to know about this thing went live from all outlets yesterday. And I said, I'd be willing to bet that pre-orders go live tomorrow. I was thinking like they'll go live tomorrow because they're going to, like, this is marketing. They're going to build off of this buzz. They're going to generate this huge wave.
Mhm.
And then they're going to open up all the floodgates. And I just didn't expect that I have to stay up all night to do it.
Well, yesterday I got my new Game Informer, and in the back page there was an article on Star Fox 2, and I was thinking about the SNES Classic again. I was like, oh man, I sure hope pre-orders go live soon, and I'm able to get one so I can play Star Fox 2. That's the only thing that I really want is Star Fox.
I need to go look at that then, because my Game Informer came while I was out last week, and it's just sitting on my desk. So
That's interesting. We'll save our thoughts on Star Fox and all of, because Nintendo had all kinds of news today. I mean, they did new 3D. We'll save that for the podcast. Let's keep it just to the SNES Classic and the pre-order situation. All right, so we all wake up, we all see this news, we're all sharing with each other. Again, to plug our Discord, when I said I had fun today, I mean I had a lot of fun just keeping up with just the chaos that was ensuing. Yeah,
actually,
I mean,
like just avoiding work, because I was sitting there and I was working, but I wasn't really working.
you weren't working. You weren't invested. You were not mentally there.
I was like every 30 seconds, refresh.
Mm-hmm. My experience was more or less the same. It's funny. I made a tweet not 24 hours after the eclipse like brought the entire world together, and we were all outside looking at the moon. Did we all just go back to tearing each other apart, trying to get something in a store because everybody was
death to humanity.
It's such a massive deal.
But we were pretty cordial in the Discord. I mean, gotta say, I mean, we were helping everybody out
for each other. Absolutely.
I mean, it was great because we kind of had this rule set, like, okay, nobody do the @ here or whatever it was unless these things go live. And it was, I mean, we had a pretty good system set up in there. You were, checking one spot, and I was checking other spots, and I was like, I have it in my cart, but it's not going anywhere. What is going on? It was this live reaction, like, what is happening?
You have these unfortunate folks like me that aren't allowed to get on Discord or GameStop or anything while they're on work, or on work computer. So I'm doing everything from my phone, switching between apps. Like, yeah. Try doing like 5 different retailers, refreshing pages. It was nuts, and all while I'm supposed to be working. So.
I'm not afraid to admit this, and I really hope my boss doesn't listen. But today I was on the road most of the day. And today I was somewhat of a distracted driver. Now, I was driving slowly and I was in the right lane. And I drive fast.
And you did pull over. You did pull over.
I was driving in the right lane all day. And I was taking my time. And I was leaving lots of space between me and the car in front of me. Because there was a lot of time. I was like, at any given moment, I'm going to have to pull over. I had 3 meetings on the docket today. And if you're not familiar with Atlanta, it's a pretty big city. A lot of people think of the city. It's really more of a region. And I had to traverse from Paulding to DeKalb to Clayton, and then back to the city, back to like the heart of the city of Atlanta, downtown.
I'm sorry you had to go to Clayton County.
Yeah, so I was on the road most of the day, getting my knowledge from our Discord and our friends that were keeping me abreast of what was going on, and all of the alerts and everything I set up. It was absolutely bananas. I had my first meeting. I was sitting with 6 people, and it was I give them credit. It was a nice and informal chat. I let them know, I was like, look, I'm hunting a must-have, sought-after item for Christmas, and I blamed it all on my kids. I was like, my son wants this so bad. I was like, so if I have to step out of this meeting for a moment, please excuse me. And they were totally fine. I don't know
if the Amazon treasure truck is going to be coming back.
We need the treasure truck. We need the treasure truck again, for sure. Oh man, I feel bad if
you lucked out on that.
If they do the treasure truck, I feel bad for the person driving it. I feel like it might be like a Dawn of the Dead situation. It might just be like people might just rush the truck in the middle of the street.
It might be I feel like when the treasure truck came by with the NES to Atlanta, though, like you said, there were thousands in there.
There were thousands of people. There were thousands of units, but there were thousands of people.
Okay. Well, I just feel like people, it kind of like they'd move past it. They're like, I'm just not going to get one.
No, it was a big deal. There was a lot of people at the truck.
Okay. All right, then.
Everybody was real friendly, but there was
Yeah.
a lot of people there. I'd be a little afraid if they did the treasure truck anytime soon. But anyway, yeah, getting off of that, I don't know who saw it first because again, I was out of pocket. So Nathan, you might be up step here, but all of a sudden, I started hearing and seeing from you guys and from Twitter and whatnot that 1 o'clock was the magic hour. Nathan, before I turn it over to you, the moment we got wind that pre-orders are going live today, I texted Caroline. We both frequent the same GameStop. We both are very good friends with our favorite GameStop manager. I was like, who's on shift today? Right now, I have got a gift card. I will give you this money. You make sure I get one whenever this goes live today. I was like, if I can get one for Caroline, I want one of those too. Like, I need as many as you can give me, cash money. So I was already on the phone with GameStop before they opened. Like at 9 o'clock, I'd already made contact. Like, guys, don't play around. This is me. You know me. Like, let's get this done. Nathan, where did the 1 o'clock rumor start coming from?
So that was just me kind of perusing Twitter and just reading the tea leaves of Twitter because it's very weird. Social media, if you just kind of channel in on something, you can kind of get what everybody's saying and going on. And I started seeing stuff from different sites that didn't look, normal. That 1 o'clock, there might be something happening, or, I think it was noon. There was another one. So the first thing that I saw was 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. There was going to be pre-orders going live somewhere. And then that was 1 o'clock for you guys, which is noon for me.
And they did the Canada thing too, right?
Yeah, then they did the Canada thing. So that was Best Buy Canada went live. And we were all kind of like, that was the only one that was actually announced, to start at noon Central Time. Right. And after that, we were like, well, maybe other ones will go live here and kind of have open Walmart and stuff like that. But that's where the 1 o'clock / noon timeline came from, is just looking at Twitter and kind of understanding, okay, there's some stuff happening here. It would make sense if, you put 2 and 2 together, it would happen other places too.
On the contrary, like, I'm looking at the text between me and Donnie. At 10:45, I sent him a message saying, I'm betting that
I remember.
I'm betting that the GameStop announcement will go live at 12 p.m. CST because GameStop is a Texas corporation, and that would be 1 p.m. Eastern for us. That was my logic on it, but I didn't. 1 o'clock sharp rolled around, and we hadn't heard anything. We didn't hear anything until maybe about 1:10.
Yep.
Yeah, so. Best Buy is also a central-based corporation up in Minneapolis, so it kind of made sense for that timeline too.
So the whole morning I spent the day telling everybody to calm down, So my whole thing was I was basing this off the Master Edition, also a highly sought after launching product with a system. Like, people wanted this thing. And if you remember, I'm not here to tell you it was easy to get, but it was like a rolling pre-order. It was available like multiple times over like a week. Like, if you'd waited, you probably had an opportunity to grab one. I was like, folks, these people did not sell them all at 1 o'clock in the morning. Like, there will be more. And then all of a sudden there was, and I don't know about you guys, but from my end, it felt like Twitter lost their minds. It felt like I was seeing like the Target went live and GameStop went live, and people are trying to get links, but it's only available in store. And it just went bananas. I was immediately on the phone with my GameStop guy, and I was like, dude, what's going on? I see it on Twitter. Don't hide this from me. You tell me what's happening. And he's like, all right, I'm going to level with you. He goes, we only got 8, and 4 of them were already pre-ordered by the staff. He's like, I've got 2 people in here right now. I was like, you make sure I get one of them. He's like, it's 1 per customer. So I immediately go, Caroline, get to GameStop. Caroline, leave right now. And I'm telling our guy, I'm like, she's on the way. Don't sell it. For the love of God, please don't sell it.
And I'm pretty sure he was on the phone with you when I walked in, because he's like on the phone laughing. And I walk in the door. I'm like, I am here. Yeah, it took me 3 minutes to get from my office down the road of like 6 stoplights. I hit all but one red traffic light. It was a godsend. The only
he gets
other
off he gets off the phone with me because he's like, I got the people here. He's like, I gotta go. Doesn't even tell me what's happening. Like, there was a period today where I was really, really upset because at one point I had the thing in my cart at Target and probably could have bought it. And I held out because I wanted to buy it at GameStop. Like, I wanted to buy it at GameStop.
I had it in my cart at Target for 10 seconds and was gone.
Same here.
Oh, wow.
I had it in my cart at Walmart and it was gone. Like, I think I was the only one out of our group that got it.
I forgot Walmart went live. That's right. Walmart went live and was gone in like a minute. Like, it was 90 seconds. It was like Wario was like, it's up, and he was like, it's down.
Yep.
What? I didn't even have time to read the tweet.
Walmart went up, and then Target, and then everybody's like, guys, we can pre-order in store at GameStop.
Oh man. So
that was like a 10-minute interval of all of that happening.
So to share some of my stress and my heartache, I'm sitting there staring at my text messages, and I'm like, I'm sending my GameStop guy I'm like, what's going on? Talk to me. And he's just radio silent. And I'm like, this isn't good. I'm like, what's going on? And then I get a message from Caroline. I got one. And then she sends me a picture of a receipt. And then I'm right back to our GameStop. Like, what is going on? I've been on the phone with you all morning. And then he sends me the picture of my receipt. And he's like, we've got you. You're taken care of. And I was able to focus back at work. And I was like, oh. Thanks. I'm good. I'm taken care of. So then I kind of, and I say focus back on work, but then really the afternoon was spent hunting for other people.
Yeah.
I immediately started like pounding the surface, refreshing links, trying to find Kevin and Jason. We've got to get everybody taken care of on staff. We started tweeting our GameStop friends. We started tweeting Mo, like, hey, like, start working your channels. We're trying to do whatever we can. And it's just bananas.
As soon as I saw you said that you got one pre-ordered, I asked where. And then you just like GameStop in store, and I called the GameStop that's closest to me, and I was like, "Are you guys doing SNES Classic pre-orders?" And he was like, "Yes." I'm like, "Seriously? Okay." I ran out, and I was at that GameStop within 5 minutes.
Poor Kevin. Kevin said that he ran like.
Kevin ran. That's exactly.
Sprinted, literally.
Not drove.
Yeah.
Ran, as in
from his
run so far. Like
the GameStop was in the plaza, and they were already gone.
Already gone.
When I got to my GameStop, and it was probably about 12:40 when I got mine actually secured. They said they only had 6 available to them today, and I was number 4. There was a guy right behind me that got another one, and then an older gentleman that I didn't figure wanted one at all ordered the last one. Like,
I'm gonna come back to that point. I think it's a great point to make. I'm gonna come back to that here in a minute. But one thing that I asked how many NES Classics they got last year, and they told me 4. Mm-hmm. So at least in our small scenario, they got twice what they had before. Mm-hmm. But it does seem like most stores are reporting they got similar amounts to last year. Like, I think most are reporting minimal uptick, but at least an uptick.
I was at 2 other GameStops today. I stopped by just to kind of see what was going on, because they're not there's 3 GameStops in my area. They're all kind of conveniently located on my route home. So after work, I stopped at these other 2 spots. The one in the mall, they said they had 8 allocated to them too, and then the one that was in across the river, closer to my house, that one said that they only had 6 located to them. So I think foot traffic was probably the big driver of which ones were going to get how many.
Sure,
but still. I mean, at least, and I asked him, like, with NES Classics, how many did you get? And he's like, we had like maybe 3.
Yeah, I did see a lot of that. A lot of GameStop folks were on Twitter saying, because there was a lot of people like, Nintendo, you said you were going to do this again. And I really feel like we have like this small country mentality. Like, we think we're so much smaller than we really are. I'm like, guys, there's hundreds of millions of people here. Like, it's not that simple. Well, if every GameStop gets 8 of them, I mean, Caroline, in Henry County alone, there's like 5 games.
There's at least. There's one right down the road from me. There's one on the Jonesboro Road exit. There's 2 in Stockbridge.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of GameStops across the country. And when I say Henry County, for anybody who have no idea what I'm talking about, that's not really like Atlanta. It's like a suburb of Atlanta. So it's not like big city, but it's not rural either.
Southside represent.
So, I mean, you know, if every store is getting a representative amount to their demo, I mean, it can be better. I mean, there could be millions of units going out that we just have.
But here's another thing. They received 4 units at our GameStop on the day of release, and that was it. This is 8 for pre-order. This is not including what they might get.
They'll have on-day stock. They'll have on-day stock. All right. So let's transition to our thoughts on the day. I had a lot of fun chatting with everybody on Discord. Our Discord was lit all day. I mean, it was just fantastic. It was so much, and it was all in Nintendo Shack. It was all like loving and positive. We were all out there for each other. We're all trying to help each other. I mean, at one point, Nathan, I think we were like, it's up in Best Buy Canada. Maybe we could ship it here. Like we're trying to ship it in from other countries. We're testing it.
And the Canadian dollar does suck, so it might be a good idea.
Conversion rates.
I had someone tweeted to Sean Capri. I was like, I might be needing to send something your way. What's your address? But I didn't get it in time.
Oh, is Sean from Canada?
Yeah. Yeah. To let you know what we're up against, Polygon ran an article today that a lot of folks saw. We retweeted it. People are using a $110 app bot called Tiding to reserve these things, and you can set in all these search parameters. Basically, it scours the internet for you. Wario64 said himself he probably thinks that's why Walmart was up so fast and so down, is they probably put up an allotment. I don't know. I would throw out a number that makes no sense, but like maybe they had 10 or 15,000. Those bots probably snatched them in a minute. Mm-hmm. And the point that I want to make off of this is, because I do want to get into some of the pros and cons of what we think, because I feel like I'm going to be a little more protective of Nintendo here, because I don't think people are giving them a whole lot of benefit of the doubt on this regard. There are people paying more than the SNES Classic costs to reserve one.
Oh yeah.
There are people buying computer programs that goes and finds a pre-order that they then have to pay for. So I just want to put that in perspective. It's been a very, very long time. And in my short time of thinking, I mean, I'm one of the younger folks here, but even when the Wii, like I got 2 Wiis, I got them the week that came out. I don't remember being this crazy. I think that's especially because like online presence wasn't as big as it is now. It's not that easy to just distribute 10 million of anything. Like I know we think it is because, you know, like phones and stuff do it, but like it is a limited item. And if there are folks deploying bots, if demand is that high that they're doing things like this to get it, like it's going to be tough. And there are just limited ways to combat things like that. So before I even dive into diatribe and thoughts, Nathan, response?
Well, with the bots whole thing, I mean, I wonder.
It's insane.
I wonder with the bots, if you can reuse this program that you paid $110 for other stuff, like, you know, other pre-orders or other things to go live.
You can.
Yeah.
So in that case, it's kind of just like it's an insurance policy that you get what you want. No way you can look at it that way. I think it takes all the fun out of everything. It
does.
I mean, even though today was, for the stupidest reason, hectic.
I don't call it fun. I call it anxiety to the nth degree.
And I mean, we're all people who, when they announced the SNES Classic, we fell in love.
Of course.
We wanted this thing right away. You know, for me, it's Star Fox 2 and it's Star Fox and everything that's on that package just looks amazing. And we're the people that, I mean, we want this for ourselves. We're not going to be scalping this. The bot people, for the most part, probably are. And that's my biggest problem with it, is that maybe there's one for themselves, and maybe there is 1 or 2 people out there that got this bot for purchasing it themselves. But I think for the most part,
they're scalpers.
True users are going to be like us. They're going to be, well, I can pre-order it. I'll watch the Twitter. I'll watch, you know, see what's happening out there, and just I'll get one. We believe, right? So that's kind of what I'm thinking happened, is that with the bot situation, it was you guarantee that you're going to have come September 29th, right? Whenever this comes out, or, you know, that 1st of October, you're going to have all these eBay listings of like $500 for all the bots.
No, let's try right now. As of about 3 o'clock, maybe 4 o'clock, there was a post on the Reddit, the GameStop subreddit, imploring corporate to look at their page, because they know apparently they know that it exists. And having those idiots that posted their GameStop receipt on eBay showing that their pre-order listing was legitimate. Yep. Right now between $200 and $400. And there's multiple listings. Multiple. When I say multiple, I mean like at least 100.
And that's the problem, right? Like you look at all those 100 listings, and this, we knew it was going to happen. We knew there was going to be a scalper market. There was always going to be a black market for this one. There probably still is for the NES Classic. And I had hope that we would be able to be better prepared for it this time around. You know what I mean? With the retailers in place, with Nintendo, whatever they had in place, that there would be some way to avoid this situation. But there just isn't.
I was just about to go there. What is the better way? Because in our Discord,
if these people are using bots, if they put a CAPTCHA on each, like I feel like the CAPTCHA is the only way that we're going to be able to deter people from doing bots at checkout.
And that might be right, but also at that point now you're asking companies to spend money, not even to make money. Like they're not even, there's no that's just a loss for them. They don't really care. They're trying to sell their stock.
Right.
It's okay. So I got a couple thoughts. My first thought is something my daughter said when we got our NES Classic, because we saw a scalper and I tried to explain it to her. Like, look, our listeners and ourselves, we all know we don't like scalpers. They make what we want cost more money. But when I explained to my daughter what a scalper was, and I was like, see, people want these things so bad that person bought 10 of them so he can sell them at twice the price. And she looked at me and she goes, well, isn't that smart? She's like, that's not illegal.
She understands economics, at least.
She does understand economics. Is this just a matter of like capitalism?
Well, I mean, it's a matter of everybody wanting to try to figure out how to make a quick buck. You know what I mean? If you can buy an $80 item and turn around and sell it for $400, that is a no-brainer in a lot of terms.
Sure.
But the downside is there's, to any upside like that, there's always a downside, which is there's not going to be some kid at the end of the year who's able to get one, right? And it's just, that's the fact, is that if you have the guy who's, you know, lawfully smart, you know, using whatever means necessary to buy his stuff, he probably also plays the stock market. It's the same exact concept. You buy low, you sell high, right? And if you do that, you're quote unquote smart. It's just, it's the backside. It's the, you know, the end of the year comes around, kids like, yay, SNES Classic. Oh, I got an Atari flashback. You know, it's
and it's the nostalgia and it's our love and it's our passion that makes us hate them so much, right? You know, like we don't care about people that do this for phones or electronics or anything else. We only care about when it comes to video games because that's what we love. It's just a point I wanted to make. But you know, one of the thoughts that I saw percolating around Twitter today, because there are a couple that I want to address them all, but one of the thoughts that I saw percolating around was Nintendo, make these cost more and maybe the market for scalping won't be so high.
I don't think so. I think it'll still be there.
Okay.
I mean, you'll have like
if they doubled the games, if they, you know, if they really blew it, let's say it cost $250 instead of $80, do you think you'd have a chance to buy more?
I think you would push out. Yeah, you'd push out people that aren't able to spend $250 on this.
True.
You know what I mean?
And that's really why, coming back to the point that I wanted to come back to, Nathan, you said you had a guy, you know, that did not look like it was in the video game demo. You got a guy that walked into a GameStop that did not look like he normally walks into a GameStop. That's really what we're combating here. You know, for everybody that wants to hate Nintendo, there's no product on the market that's like this right now. Like, you know, Scorpios were up most of the day. They all sold out, but they were up most of the day. If you really wanted one, you probably had an opportunity to get one because the demographic's not so wide. You don't have an entire country trying to buy one all at the same time.
You can compare this to the Scorpion way too, right? Because this broke websites.
GameStop was down today since 1 o'clock. Do you have any idea how much money that cost them?
8 hours at least.
I mean, it was insane, right? And I think the kicker is that it's that lower cost entry. I think that $80 price point compared to that $500 price point, like you said, to your point, if they made this $250 and went with that, would that break the internet? I don't think it would, because you wouldn't have normies like us just trying to get it a lot of times. I mean, you have super fans.
Yep.
But that's really what $180. That's where the people, I can get this. It's right there. I can get this. I know it. Just give me the website, right?
The people that really want it and that's trying to make these points blend together. The people that really, really want it, they'd probably pay $200 for it. You know, like they wouldn't like it, but they probably would still buy it, or at least let's say double the price. You know, $150. They'd probably still buy it because they really, really want it. It's the people that are upset are the people that couldn't get it for 80. I feel like that's it. It's like they really, really want it, but they only want it for 80, and that's why they're upset. They're upset that the pre-orders weren't, you know, scheduled, that they couldn't get it retail and all that.
So let's talk about that for a second. Not scheduling these pre-orders, they just kind of phantom happened. You know, overnight they started, kind of cascaded through the day.
There was no messaging from Nintendo at all. From
Nintendo. The only retailer that said anything was Best Buy Canada before theirs went live.
Just Canada.
Just Canada. So
because they're so nice. They're just so nice.
There's not that many people.
You're not going to get this.
Yeah, you got the Yukon to deal with. That's about it. I'm sorry. I have so many.
An entire third of their country, right? Like Quebec doesn't even have them. They're like, nope, you're not even included.
Which is funny. The whole reason behind that is just hilarious. But you look at that, right? There was no announcement of this coming out, and I think, in a way, that may have been better for people like us who are in the social media that don't have this announcement, because then you would have people who are seriously just botters that would be like, oh, it's happening here. Let me go ahead and pay my $150, get my bot set up, and I'll get 15 of them by the end of the day. For the stealth drop like this, it's people who really want it, that put in the effort, that were able to be able to get it. I mean, there are people that want it and put in the effort that still weren't able to, but I think if they had announced it, it would be a ton harder.
Impossible. That's yeah, you're absolutely right. There's a double-edged sword here. If they announced, hey everybody, all retailer pre-orders go live on August 22nd, none of us would have got one, because everybody would have been camped out waiting. We just wouldn't have been fast enough. The fact that they just opened them up on the fly like that gave us a chance. Like, a lot of people are upset with that. They think it's random. They feel like they were unprepared, you know, and rightfully so. I don't think it's Nintendo's fault. But rightfully so, a lot of people were upset that they didn't get communication emails from Best Buy and Amazon. Like, they signed up for alerts.
Yeah,
I never got them. I signed up for alerts. I didn't get any of them. I got alerts from GameStop after their website crashed. Like, their website crashed like 2 hours later. I got an alert like, hey, SNES Mini's up. I'm like, is it? Your website's completely down.
You know, I actually signed up for text alerts and email alerts through Now in Stock, which will give you everything for, you know, pretty much every single retailer that's doing it. I didn't even get anything. Like, I mean, I set my phone to vibrate at night, but even that's loud enough to wake me up. Nothing, not a thing.
And what was
interesting, why it was such a surprise.
Yeah, at Amazon, they had a separate listing that went up for their SNES Classic.
They did.
It wasn't even the same one as the other one. Because that deters the bots.
And if you didn't know, GameStop did a similar thing where they didn't call it the SNES Classic, the SNES Classic. They called it the Super NES Classic, playing with power. And I noticed that throughout the day. I was like, they're all titled differently. I was like, that's like, it really felt like, I know people are upset. So if you didn't get one and you hate it and you're just mad, like, I can't talk you off that cliff. I really feel like these folks they tried hard to make it as available as they could. Like, I really, outside of maybe Walmart. Walmart going up and down in 60 seconds, like, that's unbearable. But everybody else, like, I feel like they tried, at least, and you give them some credit for trying.
Yeah, I feel like when we all get caught unawares like that, at least everybody is on even playing ground.
Yeah, exactly.
We are all completely taken by surprise. And it's just kind of a first come, first serve type thing.
And it sucks. It sucks for people that, that can't leave work, people that can't. And before I even get into this, Nathan, I'll get right back to you on this point, but I also don't think we're done yet. But Nathan, jump in here.
I was just going to say, we were talking about what can be done to curtail this,
Yeah.
I really think that the only answer is you take it offline. You go into a store and you say, Saturday afternoon at 3:00, we're going to put pre-orders live here at your GameStops, at Best Buys, at Walmart, anywhere you go stand in line, you can get one.
One per customer. Exactly. I was thinking the exact same thing today. I was like, you know what? For all the people that whined last year that there weren't pre-orders, I feel like it was a lot more fair in a lot of ways if you just did it all physical. You want one, come stand in line, come get ready. The person that wants it the most, the people out there in tents and sleeping bags like Caroline and mine,
Yeah.
we would get one because we would make sure that we got one.
Yeah.
So
We had the plan to do it. We really did.
We were going to
So-
be there. I felt like that all day. I was like, for everything that they're trying to do, I honestly kind of felt all day long. I was like, it'd have been better if they just did it purely physical.
Mm-hmm.
that's what I was thinking, right? They announced today that this Saturday, give you time to understand it, to know what's coming. They say, Nintendo says this Saturday, all our retail partners, they have them listed at 3 p.m. local time. We'll be going live with pre-orders in store only. So that gives the retailers time to figure out what to do. That gives people time to understand what's going on. And it's not, it's a weekend, so it's a little bit more easy for people to make it somewhere on the afternoon on a Saturday than it is at, 10 a.m., 1 p.m., whatever it was on a Tuesday. You know what I mean? And I think that if you announce that as Nintendo, then you hand it off to your corporate partners, your Best Buys, your Walmarts. They take it the rest of the way and retail this thing. That's what it would have done to, I think, satisfy anybody that really actually wanted it. Because then you don't have bots to contend with.
Sure.
You get one per customer. You take some sort of, identifier down. Like if you're at GameStop, you use Power Up Rewards, only one per account, one per phone number, whatever it is. Or, whatever it is, they can track and just say you only get one. Now, you could theoretically go to retailer and get 5 different ones.
Sure.
But I would think that would be a better case scenario than what happened.
Now, also to point out, that opportunity still exists. It's not like we all got them today and we expect them tomorrow.
Oh, they're never coming back down. They're gone now.
Well, the online orders might be gone, but there will still be in-store stock. I guarantee it. There will be more
On
than
release day.
Yeah, there'll be more than 8 at our GameStop, and there'll be I don't know
Toys
how
R
many
Us.
more. It might just be 2 or 4, right?
I don't
It may
even
not be
think
many.
Toys R Us is doing online pre-orders. I think they're doing in-store pre-orders only, and they haven't made them live.
That's right.
But Toys R Us, I've always found, has really good stock. People don't think, oh, Toys R Us, when it comes to games, but they actually are one of the leading, what's the word I'm looking for? They're not Amazon, Best Buy, and GameStop. Like, they're the 3 golden children of Nintendo. They get everything. But Toys R Us does good development.
I did a refresh on Wario because he had a tweet up. It's just near Automata, and I just really went down. I was like, are they back up? No, but you're absolutely right. I just want to make the point that it's not over yet, right? I really feel like the quantities that had to have sold. It's not. I don't feel like Walmart sold.
Oh, no way.
4 million of them in 60 seconds. Like, there's no way.
And you look at those retailers, they're going to do what they did last time. They're going to hold stock.
Exactly.
They're going to hold stock until, December. They're going to hold stock until probably the first of the year, and then it'll be gone. But they're going to hold an allotment for, trickling out for special events to get you inside of the store.
I mean, Nathan, yourself, you said you stopped in at, 2 or 3 GameStops today?
Yep, 3 different GameStops and a Best Buy.
It made so much sense today for GameStop to put up, let's say, 25,000. Let's say they got 3 million of them. Let's put up 25,000. Let's get everybody thinking about it. Let's get everybody coming into our store today. And then tomorrow we'll put up another 25,000. And this weekend we'll put up another 25,000, and we'll let it go for a week. We'll talk about how we don't have any. We'll put up another 25,000. Like, I know people hate it. I get it. People don't like hearing it. But if you put your feet in the other shoes, it makes a lot of sense. One of the things that I didn't like today is that GameStop put up bundles for them. ThinkGeek.
And I never like those.
You can get one of these and a bunch of trash for $200. Now, I know that we don't like that. That's the same as scalping. Like, they're getting rid of their stuff and all that. But if you really wanted one, that was available. It was available to you longer. And you know what? I bet the bots weren't buying those, right? Like,
No.
it's another avenue to fight the scalping market and what you're up against. Like, because it's just, again, to reiterate on this, I felt bad today. So in a lot of ways, not just for Kevin and Jason, I didn't feel bad for them, but Caroline, I felt bad for the sequel guys and the web administrators and the web developers that are in charge of GameStop. Like, they're probably going to get fired. Their site was down for an entire day. Do you have any idea how much money that cost them in, like, Xbox sales and PlayStation 4 sales and Pokemon cards? Like, they lost so much money.
And this is a Madden release day.
It is Madden release.
Yeah,
it's such a big deal. Like, we haven't seen. The one thing that I didn't see a whole lot of on Twitter today was sympathy for the demand. This is such a big wave. It's such a huge wave to be ready for. And everybody's like, you should just, the last point I wanted to make, or at least the last topic I wanted to bring up, was the thing that I kept seeing today on Twitter was like, if Nintendo would just make enough. And it's like, I get how somebody would come to that decision, and in a perfect world, that sounds amazing, but it's not that simple. Because one, they don't want to. You think Nintendo's sitting there like upset that everybody's mad trying to click on every link and buy everyone? They don't care. They're selling through their stock.
Wii U, they're not going to make enough.
Yeah, like they're selling through. Like there's an investment that they have to make to make, package, ship, and market these things. Like if they're selling through all of their stuff, believe me, they're making money. It's not like they're breaking even. Like they're getting theirs. They
Do you
really
think they're actually going to even market this thing? Like, am I going to see a commercial during football at some point this year for this?
No, like why would they have to? They're all sold out.
I mean, they did the nice thing, and they put a teaser trailer on YouTube today, which I absolutely loved, by the way.
I haven't seen it yet.
Nice retro.
I was too concerned with trying to get it.
It looks like an 80s commercial.
No,
you may have saw it and just
90s.
thought it was old. Yeah, it looks
like
real
an early
old.
90s commercial. I want to say shout out, though, to like all of the people that work retail, because I know it really sucks.
It does.
And especially our friends at GameStop. Like, thank you for putting up with us, and thank you for like all you do. And I'm sorry that you have to get those questions. Do you have any? When are you getting some? Why can't I get this?
I have one? Exactly.
Yeah.
And here's the thing too, like along with that shout out to the GameStop people. The guy at GameStop that I talked to, one of the guys at the store that I got mine reserved at, he was like, "Yeah, we got a couple more left. My shift doesn't end until a couple hours after I got there." He said, "I'm not even going to be able to get one because while they're on the clock, they can't do orders. They can't check out for themselves. You know what I mean?" So he was just doing his job, trying to get everybody else taken care of, and what happens to him? He may even get one, and he's selling these things. So
he's going to be the guy handing it to you.
Exactly. He's going to have a tear in his eye. He'll be like, "Enjoy your Super Nintendo Classic."
Oh man, there's the episode title. That's good stuff. No, I 100% get it. It's just that I felt bad for all those folks today, because I honestly felt like I run a website. Okay.
You do?
Like, I do. I run not just this website, but like I run a website for work. My work website gets way more traffic than it, and it's an internal website. That's the other thing. It's internal. And 2 years ago, I experienced an event where we had so many people that were tuned into what we were doing. And when I mean so many people, I mean 2,800 tried to hit the same page at the same time, and it brought us down for hours. That's 2,800. Do you have any idea how many people hit GameStop today that it brought their site down for 8 hours? It's not that simple to just fix it. Like I don't get like this Twitter mentality. Be like, I don't care, fix it. I want one. It's like it's really not. It's hard. Like, there's a lot of work that goes involved to that. Like technology is not magic. David Blaine isn't back there, making SNES orders happen. Like there's a lot. Even my order hasn't even deducted. It's deducted from my card. It hasn't even deducted from my account yet. So earlier when we first started, I gave my GameStop manager my card. It has all this money on it. I'm now trying to move the money that's left over to another card just for security purposes. And I can't, because GameStop can't even take that order. They're like, sorry, our servers are down. So even while their website is up, they're still not even taking orders. Like this today has literally wrecked them for like a 12-hour period, probably 24. And like I said, I don't think we're done. So everybody that has like sad hopes and all that, I really see this as like a rolling thing. I think we'll see they'll open up in limited quantities periodically throughout the week, throughout the upcoming weeks. And then eventually, if you really, really, really have to have one, I think you'll be able to camp out and get one. And I know people don't want to hear that anymore. I'm real interested in hearing your thoughts as to why people think this is unacceptable anymore, because that's the only thing I keep seeing all day is like, I don't want to wait in line for anymore. And I'm like, well, not everything is, the famous statement, Caroline, that you don't know, but Nathan does, is the famous statement that I made about a year ago is that video games aren't bread. It's not like there's a chicken in every pot. You know, like there's not like there's just available enough for everyone. Nintendo didn't sit down and go, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna make 500 million of these. No, you know, that never happened. So like, I feel like they're doing the best they can, and I feel like somebody should try to defend them a little bit, as much as everybody hates them for it.
I'm defending them for it because you got to think when they're like, hey, let's do a cool replica of our original console back on the NES and let's put an emulator in it. It's basically a glorified emulator.
It's just a Raspberry Pi. That was my other thing to people. I was like, if you're so upset that you didn't get one, just make one. Like, just go get a Raspberry Pi and like call it a day.
Yeah, yeah. You can go online and just download them and play them on your computer, and it's there. But they see all those Sega Genesis emulators and all of these other ones that just sit on store shelves and sit on store shelves, and they never get bought. So of course they're not going to make enough to just sit on shelves where they're losing money. I understand it from that economic standpoint. I'm also giving them the benefit of the doubt because I'm one of those diehards that will do whatever it takes. And I mean, I'm not saying I'm more dedicated than you, therefore I deserve it more than you. But if I did have to sit outside all night, I had plans to go at 9 p.m. when GameStop was closing and say, okay, here I am, first in line for tomorrow. And I was prepared to stay out all night for 13 hours if I needed to. It's just a matter of how much you want it. And I think Nintendo obviously has a big enough loyal fan base that they are not going to have anything to worry about, even if people are going to, oh, we're boycotting, or, oh, this is why I don't buy Nintendo anymore. I'm still going to be here. Even though their business model is the crazy supply and demand, which, you know, we talked about that, and we saw that old 2020 special from 1988 when Super Mario Bros. 2 came out, and and they couldn't get a copy, and oh, Nintendo's doing this on purpose. Like, oh no, we're not doing this on purpose. We know you're doing it on purpose. It's been 30 years and it's the same story.
You know, it's a weird thing, Nathan. I'll get to you. The weird thing is that, like, we have all these consumer electronics. It's not even just consumer electronics. There's toys and other things that are in high demand. But particularly, like, the thing I keep coming back to, it's like phones, right? There are people, we see it every year. iPhone 10 Plus Pro, whatever happens. People line up around the iPhone store in, like, New York for, like, 2 days. CNN and ABC's there. But, like, what we don't see is Twitter, like, losing their minds, like, hating Apple, so they'll never buy anything ever again. There's not like this vitriol, like, disdain for them. But like, Nintendo releases this thing, they sell it to retailers. Retailers put up stuff in the middle. Like, Nintendo didn't go, hey, Best Buy, you can have, you know, 5 million SNES pre-orders, but you have to sell them between 1 a.m. and 2. Like, that didn't happen. It's not their fault.
Thinking of? I wonder if they got confused. I wonder if they were like, okay, guys, 1 o'clock on the 22nd, that's when your pre-orders can go live. And Best Buy is like, okay, 1 a.m., sure, we got it. And what if they jump the gun 12 hours early, and then Amazon sees it at like 4 hours later and like, crap, Best Buy already went. Okay, we better put ours up.
Devin makes a great, Devin's in the chat, and Devin makes a great point. He goes, you know, the point is the phone, we know it's coming, so people are happy to wait. And I get that. But there's still a limited option available at launch versus later. And this is a limited option. Like, it's not meant to satisfy everybody. That's what limited means. Like, if it was just, we're going to make 60 million of them and sell them forever, like, that would just be their business model and that would be their console. Like, that's not what they're doing. They're selling Switches for that. Like, they're going to continue to make Switches if you want to buy a Switch. And that was the last point I want to make, is it would be great if they made some sort of Nintendo Direct announcement in the next, before this launch. Let's put it that way. Before this launch, it would be amazing if they said, for all of you that didn't get one, if you bought a Switch, like, this will be available to you for, I don't know, some discounted cost, 30, 40 bucks, you know, something like that. That'd be fantastic. Nathan?
So along the point of the iPhone or whatever it is, you don't, I think the amount of people that line up has gone down from original. Like the iPhone 3G was probably the hype of that, or the height of that.
Mm-hmm.
And with the retailers now, there's so many different places to buy them from. If you want to buy it from Apple directly, or you can go to Verizon or whoever your cell phone carrier is, and you can do an online pre-order from them. But the difference is your release date, or your delivery date rather, gets just pushed back farther and farther. They're going to keep making them. They're going to keep on pumping these things out until they meet the demand. So their supply and demand chain is a little bit different, right? It's more reactive in that way, where, to your point, unlimited for this, they're only going to have a set amount. And the difference is, last year we saw the NES Classic, and we saw how fast that went. So we're more aware this time of what's happening. So that's why people are more, losing their minds, so to speak, to try to get this one, because they know the NES Classic is going to be, or was hard. The Super NES Classic, arguably a better value, because you get to play first time ever original release for, official release for Star Fox 2. I mean, that alone to me is worth it. So this has great value that you could charge more for, yes, but it's at the price point where it makes sense for families, for people who, are nostalgic for it and don't have $200 to throw around. And that's where people are buying a lot more, because they do have that fund. So, but yeah, with the price point too, specifically, because you're talking like an $800 iPhone compared to an $80 SNES Classic. Yeah, when the cost is always lower for entry, you sell more units. That's just a fact. So I think that's kind of the counterpoint to that, why people line up for phones compared to the other stuff.
Well, and that's the thing. That's the thing that I've been trying to kind of keep bringing up this whole time, is there's not a whole lot of comparisons for a mass appeal, wide market, in-demand Christmas item at $80.
So let's talk about that. Holiday of 2017. You have, as far as new hardware goes, you have the SNES Classic, you have the Nintendo Switch, and you have the Xbox One X.
The new 2DS XL.
Yeah, let's not even count that. So talking about those three specifically, the console type releases, SNES Classic is going to be impossible to find unless you're in the black market. Xbox One X, I also think will be impossible to find unless you want to pay more for it. And Switch, I think, may have stock on shelves at some point, but it's going to be hard to find too.
They'll be periodically, yeah. They'll be around eventually. Like they'll have some before Black Friday. They'll have some. They'll be in waves.
Right, and there's not going to be any deals per se to get a Switch. They might retailers might do something.
Oh no, they're selling those things. Like we just had a huge stock just this past week, and they're gone. Like they've all sold through. So yeah.
So come holiday 2017, these three new consoles, we'll call them new consoles, they're going to be all impossible to find. So that's where, that's part of what I think is driving this too, is people are going to realize, man, Switch has been out since March. I still can't get one reliably. I can't walk into a GameStop and reliably find one. You might look out, but you just can't reliably find it, right? With the Xbox One X, the pre-orders just went up for that. They lasted a little bit longer than this because it costs 6 times the cost. And it's not for everybody. This is marketed
the
for
difference,
everybody.
really, there's a huge difference there, is that the Xbox, while you may not be able to get the One X, you can totally walk into any store and get an S.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's the thing too, right? You can't walk into a store this year and reliably buy anything Nintendo. Anything.
Well, you're not wrong, but the Nintendo Switch was up for a long time just this past week. Like in the last 10 days, if you really wanted one in the last 10 days, you had ample opportunities to get one. Like if you were paying any attention, like they were up.
That requires paying attention.
They're actually right now, because I looked at it earlier, because I've got a bunch of trading credit. And we'll talk about that on the podcast. They're actually available right now on GameStop. Like they're just available. Like you can go buy one right now. Like they've done a real good job this month of putting some stock out there. They're not completely sold out. You may have to buy a bundle with Zelda or Mario Kart or something, but they're on shelves. Like you can walk into stores and buy them.
I'm going to correct you on that. They're available, but they're shipping on 9/1/17 or available 9/1/17. So, I mean,
I had one in the cart earlier that was going to ship tomorrow. I thought about buying 2 of them, and I started looking at like how games share and how I can play multiple games on different things with accounts, but they're available. Devin, Devin had actually backed me up here. Mr. PlayStation says Target, Best Buy, GameStop, they're available. I not to demean your point, Nathan. I think as Christmas season ramps up, I think they'll become more scarce. But I do think they're doing. I'll give them credit in that regard. I think they're doing a good job with the Switch. They're trying to meet demand.
Right, and they're ramping that supply up to meet that demand.
Definitely.
By the end of the year, you're gonna have some available, but like I said, you're gonna have special events. You're gonna have Black Fridays that people are gonna be like,
if you wait until Black Friday, you might miss out. Yeah.
Well, they're gonna say, as a doorbuster, we're gonna have Switches in stock. And I would assume that Nintendo would be like, hey, with Mario, we want you guys to hold back, maybe 5 in the store if you have a low amount to make sure they can move Mario, because you gotta remember, Mario is the system seller. I mean, not everybody wants Legend of Zelda. Not everybody wants Mario Kart. Not everybody wants Splatoon. But Mario, as soon as that drops, it's lights out.
And you have to think their entire production since March is built towards that.
Yeah. So that's my thought on there. But like I said, I went to 4 different stores today, 3 GameStops and a Best Buy. None of them had Switches. None of them had Xbox One X pre-orders, except actually, I did get the last one as a backup of an Xbox One X pre-order for the GameStop that I went to. And they only had, I think he said 5 or 6 Xbox One X pre-orders available to them. So also scarce on that side.
Well, I mean, you think about it's one of those things like define scarce, because I saw, who was it?
Scarce is single-digit pre-order numbers.
It was Jason Schreier, who I love. Dude's over at Polygon or Kotaku. I always get them mixed up, but he's amazing. He's like one of the best journalists in the business. And he had a tweet earlier, it was early this morning, 9, 10 o'clock, something like that. And he was like, my local GameStop said they got 9 or 10 or 12 SNES pre-orders. And he was like, I thought Nintendo was doing a better job at stock. But he didn't say how many they got last year with NES pre-orders. And I wanted to like write him. I was driving, but I wanted to write him. I was like,
dear sir,
if you got 10 pre-orders for anything at every GameStop across the country, that's not an insignificant amount of stuff. It's a lot of things. GameStop has hundreds of stores. Like there's thousands of stores. Not even hundreds, thousands of stores. Like that's a lot of stuff. Like I don't look at that and go, good job, bad job, Nintendo. That's stupid. Like I'm like, okay, they got 8. If you put 8 at every store, like that's a pretty good amount for just this territory. Again, Nintendo doesn't just make stuff for the United States. It's not like they were like, again, we're not gonna make 500 million just for the US. Like they also have Japan, they also have China, the UK, all those countries. Like they have an entire world to piece to.
Not the SNES Classic. They got the Famicom.
The Famicom. Yeah. So they count differently. They're different numbers. Like so, there's a factory somewhere. Like
it's like Famicom factory. There's a left factory and a right factory.
Left Twix.
I love that idea. I just see 2 conveyor belts. One with like purple and yellow, and another one with colors, and they're just all coming off in different things, going separate parts of the world. Yeah, I mean, it's an insane thing to say. Honestly, the point I made in our Discord earlier is like the difference between this and the Xbox One X is just demand. That's all it is. There's no difference. It's just the amount of demand. Because it's $80.
This has the nostalgia too.
So many more people interested at $80. If this cost $250, I think we'd all got one today. If you want, but I also don't think we would have all paid for it. But if it was, if it was $180, like if they just raised the price to a level that cut out the bottom market. But that's the thing, like they're making a mass appeal market. And when you have a mass appeal thing like that, like a Pokemon card, like a Magic, like a Furby, like when you get down to that level where everybody gets one, ultimately it becomes hard to find. I don't see how this is like a surprise to anybody. I feel like Twitter's acting like this has never happened before. I feel like this happens almost every year. There's always some hot ticket item that's hard to get. And if you really want one, you're gonna have to try for it.
So let me hop in here because I do think that I don't know if I stated this before, but this is not Nintendo's fault. Nintendo is making a console. They're providing a product. Maybe their marketing had something to do with it, but I kind of doubt it. It really, I think, comes down to the retailers, and it's on them to provide customer service. It's on them to make sure that you're able to get what you want. That's why you go to a retailer. They provide that experience. And from my ventures today around, they were providing that experience. They were helping people to try to get what they could, but as soon as they were out, there's nothing they could do. So as far as that's the in-store experience, right? As far as the website experience, it's faceless. There is no real customer experience there. A website goes down and people are like, what is this? I can't get here. Or, we're trying to add something to our cart frantically. That's not Nintendo's fault that their website can't handle that traffic, that their website goes down. It's the retailer. It's not able to realize what's going to happen. I mean, you have to think that they've seen this level of interest for a product before and could have prepared for it. There's an expectancy when you're a consumer and you go to try to buy something that you can give them your money. You're like Fry in Futurama, like, take my money. Like, okay, it's developers or manufacturers, they get a piece later on. What you want matters nothing to them. They have a number that they're making, and that's that. It's the retailer it's on to make this experience smooth for you. So it's not Nintendo's fault. Anybody else is like, I'm not doing this again, Nintendo's doing this, blah, blah, blah.
There's a lot of those.
Yeah,
there's a
not
ton
Nintendo.
of those people today.
But I just want to make sure that I said my piece, that it's not Nintendo. In my mind, like, there could have been some messaging from Nintendo that kind of, could have been maybe clearer to the retailer specifically, but it was on the retailers to make it happen.
And I don't know. So, I mean, I've never been in high-level retailer negotiations, but like I don't believe that Nintendo can dictate to retailers like when they put their stuff up. Like, they can say like, hey, our release date for orders is August 22nd, but I don't think they can be like, you all must go live at one. Like, I don't think they can do that.
I don't think
know.
that's true. Like,
yeah,
Microsoft did it with the Xbox One X.
You think so?
Yeah. As soon as that conference was done, they were able to do pre-orders.
Yeah, you're right. But I mean, they may have set it like the time with like marketing and all that. But like, I mean, I guess you're right. I guess they could ask for everybody to do it at 1 p.m.
And Apple, you talk about iPhones, that's the same way. Everything, your pre-orders go live at like 6 a.m. or whatever it is.
I know that's Jason's big thing. Jason really likes what just Europe did. Like, Europe was like, this is coming. All pre-orders are live now. Get one while you can. You didn't get one, we're sorry. And it's just like a one big day thing, and that's it, and it's done, and there's it's just, that's it. And I mean, I think that's great. I also think though, like Canada and Europe, it's a different market. So like, not everything is apples and oranges here. Like, you can't look at like what goes great for Great Britain goes great for the United States. It's such a huge deal. Like, there's so many there's so many people here to appease. Like, I don't know. So I could see a lot of that. But let's wrap it up here. It's an hour on SNES Mini pre-order talk. Caroline, you got anything else to add?
No, I've kind of said my piece about I feel bad for the folks that have not come out in this fight as winners, but you will be winning soon, I hope. I think that there will be more pre-orders for sure before we've got a month. And then don't forget that release date is when probably the bulk is going to be coming out. So don't lose hope, guys. I'm going to help y'all out as much as I can. I'll tweet out if something goes out, and if somebody needs me to snag one up for them, I have no problem doing it.
I never wanted an NES Classic. I waited months, I feel like almost a year after release. Like, I never wanted one, and then all of a sudden it was available in Treasure Truck. I got one at retail. Like, there will be opportunities. If you put your ear to the ground, there'll be opportunities for you. And if you don't want to, if you're John Q. Public, you're like, I don't want to do all that work, maybe this isn't for you.
Nope.
Like, maybe you're just at the back of the line then, like, because there's a lot of people obviously that do. Nathan, you got anything else you'd like to add?
I mean, I pretty much said my piece there, but
okay.
It's one of those things where I hope you're able to get one if you're wanting one. I hope that you don't lose out to a bot. Yeah. And it's
or a scalper. They're the real evil people here.
And avoid the scalpers. So here's the other thing. The other side of the coin is scalpers don't work if people don't buy.
Right. Don't feed them.
The thing that I was actually going to say is I would absolutely love it if, let's say, Nintendo meets demand and all these scalpers prices that are $200-$300 all of a sudden drop to like $100 or $120, because I paid $120 for one from Europe. Like, I want the Fire Emblem, I want the Famicom one with the colored buttons and all that. I don't feel like that's crazy. Like, if you don't care to wait in line and whatnot, you pay $100, you pay a $20 delivery charge. Like, that's not a huge deal. Like, if the demand can be met at that level, that there's so many available, the prices come down, that'd be amazing. But
That'd
it
be
may
awesome.
it may take a while. That won't be launch day. You know, it may take till after Christmas. And I know
It's
folks
like-
don't want to hear that, but
I'm gonna draw the parallel with the amiibo craze. Everybody was losing it when certain amiibo went out of print.
yeah,
And they
Grey Ninja.
sat on eBay for $60-$70 for a figurine in the box. And then once Nintendo started making demand and we were getting flooded with all these amiibo sitting on store shelves, and people are like, well, there's too many to buy. No, nobody wants them. Those poor scalpers, bless their hearts.
And we've put a lot of focus on the SNES Mini Collection on Switch. We didn't have to do that. Literally, if they just said, hey, for all you folks that missed out, we're sorry, but all of the games that are coming to the SNES Mini are available for $70.99 each on Switch, that would go so far. Just to, it's just another avenue. Like because there's a difference. There's a difference between the person that wants the console to sit on the shelf as the display item to say they got one, and the person that wants access to the game. Right?
Yeah.
Like, there's just there's Nathans out there like, I just want to play Star Fox 2. Like that's all I really, really want. If they just made that available to other people on another method, like it would solve so many issues. Just like, hey, we're sorry you missed out on this, but you know what? We're trying to make up for it. Go buy this digitally for $7 and don't worry about it. That would be amazing. Like if they could just do something, that'd be great. But we've talked long enough. It's been an hour. Thank you all for listening. Come check us out, playsomvideogames.com. Follow us on Twitter at PSVG, facebook.com/playsomvideogames. All of our Twitter handles, all of our gamer tags, everything's there. Come chat with us every day. You want to tell us what you thought about this podcast, what you think about our reactions, click the Discord banner, huge banner, top left on the homepage, automatic invite into Discord. We don't charge anything like that. We just want you to come hang out. So click the banner, come hang out with us, and let us know what you thought. As Kevin always says, boys and girls never stop gaming. And once again, thank you guys for hanging out with us. This has been an emergency Nintendo Shack broadcast. I have all kinds of plans to answer that stuff in there. But we'll definitely have our major podcast at the end of this week. So thank you all so much and good night.